See, it's really important that we understand history, not so that we can repeat history, but so that we don't. And so that we understand the cost of those who went before us, so we hang on to those values and we bring them into the new thing. Thus that we don't have to return, metaphorically speaking, to the agricultural age to learn them ourselves. I think one of the greatest virtues that my grandfather taught me as a non-believer, and later my grandfather was a believer the last year of his life, angels taught him the Bible. They visited him every day for 6 months and taught him the Bible. True story. When my grandfather went blind because of a tumor behind his optical nerve, he finally died of it. 6 months after he got saved, when my grandfather got saved, 2 weeks later, angels began to talk to him, meet him in his bedroom, 2 of them. He had their names, and they taught him the Bible. He had never read the Bible in his entire life. He had never been to church. 6 months into the angels teaching him the Bible, he went completely blind and couldn't read. So my grandfather had all of us children. He was a patriarch. We're Spanish. How many Latin people we have in here? ¿Cómo estás? That's all I know of Spanish right there. I move right into uno, dos, tres after that. But right after my grandfather, we have a patriarchal family. I grew up in a patriarchal family. My grandfather, whoever's the oldest, was in charge of the family. You went to my grandparents' house for Christmas and Thanksgiving, whether you wanted to or not. It's just the way it was. And if you were going to buy something or do something, you went to speak to my grandfather out of honor. It's the way I was raised. So my grandfather had a lot of, if you will, respect and in some ways control over our family. So when my grandfather went blind, he ordered all of us kids and grandkids to read the Bible to him 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. My whole family wasn't saved. They were reading my grandfather the Bible in 2-hour shifts. Thus to say, my grandfather's probably watching from heaven right now, laughing. My family still talks about those years. I thought my grandfather was going a little crazy. I think my grandfather was going a little wisdom. But my grandfather taught me perseverance from the time I was a little boy. He said, real men don't give up. And then later on, I received Jesus and I read it in the Bible that God's people don't give up. In Romans chapter 15, verse 4, Paul writes, for whatever was written in earlier times was written for our instruction. So through perseverance and encouragement of the scriptures, we might have hope. Now may the God who gives perseverance and encouragement grant to you the same mind with one another according to Christ Jesus. How many know in order to have a Sunday, you have to have a Friday? Today we're celebrating Easter, but it was for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. He didn't enjoy the cross. He endured the cross. And before there can be a resurrection, there has to be a crucifixion. And what I'm getting at is that Jesus, in pain in the Garden of Gethsemane, which I was there this year in Israel, first time I've ever been to Israel, went to the garden where Jesus prayed. One of the spots where they're actually sure that this is where Jesus prayed, where he actually sweat blood because he was persevering, pushing his way through death into the cross.